Pete Gati, BMSN. My uncle's name was Maurice Buckwalter. His family came to the United States in 1720. All were Army. Me and my uncle, Navy. I could not see me sleeping on the ground. I always thought, my mother always told me Pennsylvania Dutch. I thought Pennsylvania Dutch was Dutch, but it's not. It's German. And then I found out they're not really German. Switzerland, because the borders switched back and forth so many times back then that they spoke German anyway, as far as I knew. My grandfather come from the Pottstown, Pennsylvania area. And during the Spanish-American War, he was stationed on Staten Island at Fort Wadsworth. He was a sergeant in the Coast Artillery. I don't know why. He never went back to Pennsylvania. He joined the NYPD before they had cars. He on a bicycle. And that's the picture that I showed you. He was a big guy. I remember him big because he only died in '58. And so I remember him very well. He was a big guy. Okay, I just found out something else recently. So my father, he was stationed at Indiantown Gap in Pennsylvania, which I just passed because I was on a road there the other day. And he wound up in Boston. My mother went up to Boston, and then he was getting the whole division, 17,000 men, were going to India. So my father goes to India. He was there for 3 years. So, as a kid, I guess when he got about 17 or 18, my grandmother's neighbor was a baker. They owned a bakery. My father worked in the bakery. My father was a hustler, worked in the bakery, worked on my great-uncle's farm. So when he joined the Army, he made right away. He became a master sergeant in charge of a divisional bakery and mess hall. So he's in India now. And he tells me some stories. So he's telling me about India. And then he says to me, he had a pet. I said, oh, a dog? He said, no, a tiger. I said, a what? He says, yeah. He says, I had access to food. It was no problem having feeding the tiger steak. I said, oh, okay. So then he tells me he flew the hump. I says, you what? I says, he says, well, I was bored. And I asked a couple of the officers, can I fly the hump with them? That's going over the Himalayas into China. I guess for a joyride, my father did it. And he told me he only did it once, but he flew over the Himalayas and back. It was he said it was a cargo plane. They were bringing cargo over there, which I thought was interesting. He told me about when he was getting, now they didn't fly them home, they came back by ship. So in 1946, he had to go to a troop ship, his whole division. He says some guys were sneaking aboard girls that they met. He says some of the girls are really pretty. He says, when they're young, he says, and he says, he had a little boy that I guess, I don't know, used to be in the mess hall, but I can tell you a story about that. He tried to sneak him back, and they searched the sea bag, and he had to take the kid, put him on a pier. Now, the largest shipping company or transport company in India is Gati, my last name. And there is no equivalent in India for Gati. So now I always wondered, was that little boy my father's kid? I know my father was no angel. I always wondered. And there's no way I could find out. But for the last 20, 25 years, the name of the largest shipping company in India is GATI. Doesn't, no equivalent in Indian language.